when you're out of it, being conditioned in that mindset and having had the damage happen from that, physically, on top of that, and then the brain issue, the real world is just no place for anybody with that. It really is, with trying to understand what's going on out here and seeing the things you see when you turn a TV on, or just walking out in the streets, and people just think especially today, like they could just say anything to you, do anything to you. And, when you come from an environment where, that was handled real quick, in a locker room or on a field, and you expect guys that are 6'5", 300 pounds to, deal with this real world like everybody else can, well, no, you guys had a head start. Sorry.
I guess, and on that, I'm curious because I mean, obviously, I know you were playing before social media really came along, but I mean, that's something I've talked with a lot of people about. Is that's just a whole other added pressure, I mean, I know a lot of guys that I've spoken with who they stay off of it altogether, and others that say, "Look, I've tried to stay off of it, but you've always got family showing you what people are saying." I mean, and it's like one moment can be magnetized. I mean, I talked with Walt Coleman, who his whole life got magnetized from the tuck rule. I talked to a basketball player that he enters the transfer portal and every fan for the team he used to play for just turns against him. I know even before social media, I know you had pressure with the whole helmet thing. I know there's a lot of guys that go through those sort of situations, and I'd imagine that's just a whole nother level of stuff going through your mind that you got to, push out.
Yeah, I mean, you never get away from it, that's for sure. I can't imagine what would happen if I'd have been in the social media era when I did that. It'd have been insane. Who knows what would have happened? You know what I mean? I mean, and even looking back on what did happen from that, the worst thing I did, if I go back to that moment and when that happened, not the moment itself, because that was football. I was doing my job at the end of the day, and I should have just, fuck off. I was doing my job and gone about the rest of my days. But the NFL and the media wanted to use it to turn me into some, enigma, and that's what happened. And I got sucked into it. And if I go back, there was one thing that occurred that I could change, in another life, and it's going to be accepting that plane ticket to go on TV and defend myself against these morons who had an opinion about what it is I was doing. And at the end of the day, I was just doing my job. I heard my quarterback scream like bloody murder, like he's getting his neck broke, and I fucked some guy up for doing it. That was it. I threw the helmet, flipped off Paul Tagliabue, who I knew was in the stadium because he created that environment by being the commissioner and, allowing the league to become what it is instead of really being a family environment for us. We got a bunch of individuals out here that think they can just step across the line and above the game and try to hurt people outside the lines. I did it in the lines and they hated me enough. I can't imagine if I would have done it outside of the lines and been that guy, to take things, be Pac-Man Jones or one of these other dudes. No, I was playing football and I got turned into this enigma, that was a big distraction, and it followed me the rest of my career, and it cost me money, it cost me jobs. And it was unfortunate. I mean, if I would have been in the social media era, it could have been either way, like Antonio Brown. It would have been, well, I got millions of followers at least, or bajillions, and I can sell all my crap to them or whatever. It was an interesting moment, and moment in sports that has stayed with me and is one of those things you got to run into out in the streets all the time. Luckily, I lost all my hair, so that's been a benefit, and everybody thinks I'm one of Howie Long's kids. Yeah.
So I guess something I